And with a come-from-behind overtime victory, the Kansas City Chiefs complete their dynasty build, winning their second Super Bowl in 2 years. The second time they beat the San Francisco 49ers for the championship in 4 years. And guys, I got to admit, I'm already over it. I really wasn't into the game, but, we watched it, and it was a game, and if I'm being honest, the halftime show was the best part. Usher killed it. I mean, this halftime show was on par with 2 years ago when they had Dre and Snoop and all them. It's like this millennial music generation at halftime is just absolutely lighting it up. But this video this week, guys, we're back. We're going to talk a little bit of Super Bowl, a little bit of Super Bowl halftime, and then I want to run down something that really tickled my pickle, and that is the NFL honors list. We're going to kind of go through a few of the awards that were doled out, and I'm going to give my opinion on a couple of the spots there, notably Coach of the Year, and I don't think you guys are going to like what I have to say about that. So, I'm Hattenbeard. This is the Hattenbeard Show. We're here to say the quiet part out loud. Let's get into it, fellas.
We're going to get up, and on the way up, we're going to bite a kneecap off. Doesn't matter if you have one ass cheek and 3 toes. I will beat your ass.
Hey guy, welcome back to the channel. If you're not already, do me a favor, like the video, comment down below if you enjoyed the Super Bowl, and go ahead and subscribe to the channel. It helps me out an awful lot. I really don't like asking for these types of actions, which is why I don't do it very often, but we're nearing 450 subscribers, guys, so if we can just get that number up a little bit, I would just be tickled absolutely shitless. Thanks, bud. Let's get on with the video. So the Super Bowl happened this weekend, and somehow the Kansas City Chiefs rolled into the game as underdogs. I don't understand on the surface why they were underdogs. The scriptwriters have to be absolutely tickled with themselves for the way the season went. They opened with the defending Super Bowl champs losing to our Detroit Lions on the first game of the season, Thursday night, prime time, unveiling their Super Bowl banners, and the Lions went in there and absolutely crapped all over it. But in the end, the scriptwriters got what they wanted. This game was gonna go this way no matter what. In my opinion, you just have to follow the money. The NFL, their corporations that back them financially, put an awful lot of funding behind Travis Kelce this year, really making him the woke talking point of the NFL, the face of woke NFL, be it Mr. Pfizer getting his injections or his constant supporting of Bud Light being one of their new spokesmen, obviously getting the bag from the woke corporations, and then he was rewarded with being paired with the largest pop culture, pop singing, music, whatever you want to call her, literally the biggest economic force in entertainment going on in the world right now, who in 2020 openly endorsed Joe Biden, and in 2024 will be doing everything she can to stop the MAGA movement that will be tidal waving over the United States in November of 2024. That's just my speculation right now based on, well, it's the economy, stupid. Let's not get off track here. Let's talk about the game. Chiefs were behind the whole game. They were basically getting just manhandled. The 49ers defense played great. The 49ers offense played sloppy, okay? It could be argued that they used all of their luck on the Brandon Ayuk catch in the NFC Championship game, where it bounced off Vildor's face mask and into the arms of Brandon Ayuk. That was all the luck they had. They exhausted that resource, and they had to play a perfect game to beat the Chiefs. Not only to beat the Chiefs, I'm not even saying the Chiefs were that good of a team. Yes, they were the AFC representative in the National Football League for the Super Bowl, but I think Baltimore was a better team. Baltimore, though, as I said in my previous video, didn't quite have it in the tank to go this far of a stretch, this long of a run. They really burnt out there in the AFC Championship game, and the Chiefs were able to make their way past the Baltimore Ravens and into the Super Bowl, right? Well, it's what the scriptwriters wanted. It's the way it was going to go. They trailed the entire time. Vegas originally had the Chiefs as the underdogs, almost trying to cover up for the script writer saying, hey, no, this isn't fixed. The fix ain't in. The fix isn't in. If the fix was in, why would we have the Chiefs be the underdogs? Vegas is going to lose money. Well, it's all part of the bread and circuses, man. If you can't tell, the world is an absolute shithole right now, dude. It is. I know it's kind of cliche to say, but it feels like every day we move a little bit closer to the start of a global conflict, both domestically and on foreign soil. Everything is just an absolute nightmare right now. And just like the Roman Empire did in their heyday during the collapse, they're going to really pump up the bread and circuses, because when they pump up the bread and circuses, you're gonna disconnect from what's going on in the outside world. I myself do it all the time, man. I'm very much in the political sphere, but I use football to break away from it, to gain a little bit of my sanity back. I know that it's a distraction, okay? I know that going into it, but guys like me, I need that from time to time, right? And I think you guys do too, because we know what's really going on. We knew how this game was going to go from the jump, and the Chiefs ended up doing exactly what they were supposed to do, and winning themselves another NFL title, becoming the next dynasty since the Patriots, right? It was bound to happen. Unfortunately, I'm not too wild about it. I like Andy Reid. Patrick Mahomes, I'm not a fan of Patrick Mahomes. Travis Kelce can eat all of the dicks in the bag. Him and T Swift can just go away. Like, I'm just over it, dude. I'm just so over seeing Taylor Swift all the damn time, dude. I'm so sick of that stupid surprised O face she makes every time that the camera pans to her. Like, bitch, you know you're the biggest fucking star in the world, man. Why are you pretending like everyone's so, oh my God, worshiping you? Why are you so surprised? Everywhere you go, you generate billions of dollars of revenue for the destinations for your Eras tour, dude. You're a financial powerhouse for every location that your tour stops. Millions and millions and millions of people blindly follow you and do whatever it is you say. You're a fucking cult leader at this point, yet you just continue to put on this fake act of, oh my God, I'm so surprised that people are looking at me. Fuck you to the moon. Get fucked, cunt. What did I think of the game, though, as a whole? Disconnecting from the bread and circuses narrative that's actually going on and just absorbing the game for what it was worth. Well, to be honest with you, the game was on, I was watching it, and I was drinking an awful lot of beer because I didn't care. I was bitterly drinking. I've been bitterly drinking since the NFC Championship game, guys. I've been really, really pissed off that it wasn't us there. Do I think that the Lions could have beat the Chiefs? Honestly, no, I don't. And what do I have? What am I basing that off of? The fact that other than the Minnesota Vikings, our divisional opponents who we faced off twice a year, beat us on the second go around. Okay, it's something that has been nagging us. You know, the Minnesota game, we got kind of lucky that we had an interception sealing game the first go around, and the second go around we were really playing hot ball, right? But the Packers beat us on Thanksgiving, their second matchup. The Bears beat us on their second matchup. The Bears almost beat us on their first matchup, right? So my theory is that if the Lions could have had another crack at the Kansas City Chiefs, or really if the Chiefs would have had another crack at the Detroit Lions, probably wouldn't have gone our way, though I would have loved to have seen I'd have loved to have seen it, because I think that our team maybe would have had a little bit more in the tank. Possibly, I don't know, man.
If some butts were candies and nuts, then we'd all have a Merry Christmas.
If my grandma had been born with wheels, she'd have been a wagon.
But all in all, the game was kind of boring. Wasn't that great. It was a defensive masterclass for the first little bit by the 49ers, really shutting down the Kansas City Chiefs. That was nice to see, but in the end, man, we all knew it was going to happen. The best part of the game, in my opinion, was the halftime show, man. I loved it. I love the halftime show. I thought this year's was absolutely fucking great, dude. I thought that Usher nailed it, dude. Usher was up there getting it. He still got it. He is up there just busting his ass, man. It was so entertaining to watch. You guys, I got to admit, I'm a little biased when it comes to Usher. I love his music. And there's two things that I wish, like, that I could do, or like if I could wish to have these things happen. One, I wish I could be 6'10" and play power forward in the NBA as like a bench, like a reserve player. I don't want to be a starter. I just want to be 6'10" and play in the NBA and be able to dunk. I think that would be cool. And two, I wish that I could dance like Usher so bad. That dude was like the original glide dancer, man. He was just killing it. And then the special guest that they had, keeping it under wraps, I thought was a really classy move that they did there, because it kept everyone kind of in suspense on who it was going to be, right? First, they roll out Alicia Keys, okay? So me and Hat and Boobs were watching it. We're like, oh, okay, Alicia Keys is the guest. Wow, this is great. Alicia Keys is a great artist. She's got some serious pipes on her, and she can entertain, right? We're like, all right, this is great. And then they brought out Lil Jon, and we were like, oh, man, yo, like, okay, they really took it up a notch. And then while the show was wrapping up, I said to Hat and Boobs, I was like, if they bring out Ludacris, I'm going to lose my shit. And as soon as I said it, out came Luda. Luda, take that, rewind it back. Lil Jon got the rhythm, make your booty go. Right? Like, yo, I was in my millennial element, 35, almost 36 years old. I was dancing in my living room. I'm not going to lie. I was really entertained by the halftime show. I thought that it was on par with 2 years ago with the West Coast show out of, Dre and Snoop and, well, Eminem's East Coast and 50 Cent. And it was just the same vibes, man. Last year's was whack. I did not enjoy watching a pregnant fat woman waddle around on platforms. The most entertaining part of last year's Super Bowl halftime show was the engineering that went into moving the platforms and the synchronicity that they had. All of these mechanical applications being applied at the same time without a hitch was phenomenal. They probably relied heavily on a lot of PLCs. But it wasn't that entertaining. This year was just next level. It might have been better than 2 years ago. It might have been better than 21's halftime show, because it was, I don't know, man, maybe I'm wrong. Let me know what you guys think down below. Comment which Super Bowl halftime show you liked, and if you even like this year's Super Bowl halftime show. Again, I can't stop telling you how much I just absolutely loved it, but I'm an Usher stan, yo. I'm not gonna lie. I love Usher, dude. His music is so fucking good, dude. All right, now let's get into the NFL honors situation. Before we talk about the NFL honors, the actual awards going out, let's give a big hat and beard round of applause for all you savage American patriots who booed that limp dick prick, Lil Harry from the UK. Stop calling him royalty. Okay, I am so sick of you, like, English simps who run around here clinging to everything that the royal family, we kicked you out. We kicked your tea-sipping ass out of here with our backwater ass militias armed with Kentucky rifles, okay? We kicked the largest empire in the world at the time out of our country. They're not royals. We don't give a fuck. Stop with this whole, oh, Cam Hayward really disrespected the royal family. First of all, motherfucker, he ain't royalty. He lost all of his titles when that little bitch convinced him to run across the pond and take refuge over here because she was so, just living such a hard life as a fucking actual entitled princess. Okay, so she ruined his life. He had to give up all of his titles and shit. He ain't fucking royalty. He's just some asshole from England who went on the stage and proceeded to ridicule our sport, saying that we knocked off rugby. Dude, hey, Harry, get fucked, all right? Go fuck yourself completely to the moon, you goddamn cunt. Now let's get into the awards, you guys. We're going to go through a few of them. I'm not going to do all of the back-end awards and stuff, but we are going to touch on the big ones, right? And first and foremost, Walter Payton Man of the Year Award. It was great to see Frank Ragnow make it into the finalists, but you know that with what his foundation does, with that they take kids out on what could be perceived as traditionally conservative values, takes them out hunting and fishing, kids that are having a hard time where their parents are gone or whatever the situation is. They don't have parents, and they need some type of influence on their life. And we know that children need strong foundations. They need good role models to follow, which is why you could say that part of the degradation of our country is the worship of degeneracy in our pop culture influence classes, right? It's good to see Frank Ragnow out here taking a different approach to it. So you knew he wasn't going to win, because of the situation of his charity, but it's just really awesome to finally see a little bit of recognition going to the Detroit Lions players. But that being said, Cam Hayward is this year's Walter Payton Man of the Year award. So congratulations to Cam Hayward doing monumental things for just the country, his immediate community, utilizing his wealth, his celebrity, his fame, his God-given abilities, really exercising all of those to pay it back to the community, and he was rewarded and acknowledged by such of the NFL. Sidebar, I think that the Walter Payton Man of the Year award ceremony should be the halftime show at the Super Bowl. I think that culturally that would really help showcase even farther the importance of what it means to give back to the community. That coming off the heels of me just totally saying how much I enjoyed the halftime show, I still think that as far as a cultural movement in the large grand scheme, looking at it from a 10,000 foot view down, Walter Payton Man of the Year award should be the Super Bowl halftime show. But, you know, hey, Cam Hayward wins that. Lamar Jackson, I called it 2 or 3 weeks ago, Lamar Jackson was going to be the league MVP. No doubt about it. The guy was just absolutely elite this year, taking that step from shushing all of the haters, the naysayers, that he isn't a quarterback, that he's just a mobile athlete, which he is a mobile athlete, but he really showcased his development as a pocket passer. He also paired him with a true out-and-out number one wide receiver with the rookie Zay Flowers that they took at the back end of the first round, and he just was lights out, a really nice compliment to Lamar Jackson. So Lamar Jackson easily wins MVP. No argument, no questions, qualms, or concerns about that. Comeback Player of the Year, sidebar, should be changed to the Alex Smith Comeback Player of the Year award, because Alex Smith, maybe I should do a whole video about that, about how important what Alex Smith was able to do and come back from should change the award to the Alex Smith Comeback Player of the Year award. Joe Flacco wins Comeback Player of the Year award. 40-some years old, Joe Flacco sitting on his couch, gets a phone call midway through the season from the Cleveland Browns. Hey, man, you want to come play football? Sure, man. I'm going to go ahead and take this Browns team who lost Nick Chubb, who has a sex offender at quarterback, who their number one wide receiver is a really old Amari Cooper, right? They traded Donovan Peoples-Jones to the Lions right before the trade deadline because he wasn't doing anything in Cleveland. And guess what? He didn't do anything in Detroit. Joe Flacco ended up taking the Browns to a 10-6 record, and had they been in any other division other than the AFC East with the Baltimore Ravens, the Browns would have won their division, right? But because they were in the same division with the Baltimore Ravens, they ended up at a wild card spot, taking second place in the division. But all of it was led by Joe Flacco. Let's be honest, with no Nick Chubb, with an old Amari Cooper, and just Joe Flacco out there winging it. Joe Flacco definitely deserves Comeback Player of the Year award. I can't think of any other player who really showcased or was set against such a high hill to overcome to really get back to the league, to not only get back to the league, but play at a high level. So congratulations to old Joe Flacco. Kind of a Joe Flacco fan, not going to lie. Let's get into the Defensive Player of the Year. Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett has been a wrecking force on the field since he entered the league and just took control of. I mean, the guy can change the flow of a game by himself. Top flight talent. What can you say about Myles Garrett that hasn't already been said? So totally earned there. We're not going to spend too much time on Myles Garrett. Offensive Player of the Year goes to CMC, which no surprise there at all. He is arguably the most versatile player in the NFL. He can run, he can catch, hell, he can throw, he can return punts if he need to. I wouldn't be surprised if they actually asked him to if he could kick and punt. The guy is an absolute threat across all aspects of the game, a true three-down running back, an all-purpose feature running back. His touchdown streak this year was just insane. His overall production was just magnificent. You love to see it. Part of that could be the system that he's in, and Kyle Shanahan, regular season, is absolutely elite. Kyle Shanahan, when he gets in the Super Bowl, can't seem to coach his way out of a paper bag. That's neither here nor there, but CMC definitely deserving of Offensive Player of the Year. The rookies, hey! Couple of Houston Texans, 2 and 3. The number 2 overall pick wins Offensive Rookie of the Year. No surprise there. CJ Stroud. Wow, man. CJ Stroud has been on a whole nother level all season long. And personally, I think he's incredibly deserving of it based on his skill set and the fact that he stands in the face of the mainstream media and really puts his faith not only on his sleeve, but verbalizes and forces you to have to listen to it. And I think that's a great thing. I think we need more of that in today's society. So CJ Stroud winning Offensive Rookie of the Year, man, I love to see the elevation of that type of messaging out of that player and really driving home, more traditional conservative values and showing that it can be done and what doing things the right way, what you can achieve, because C.J. Stroud had the deck stacked against him. He had the whole Ohio State narrative, the Ohio State quarterback narrative. I was one of those guys perpetuating that narrative, and he completely proved me wrong, completely proved everybody else wrong, showed Bryce Young was just a bum, right? Made Carolina give up all of this draft capital for Bryce Young. C.J. Stroud, obviously, just head and shoulders better. Well, most people are head and shoulders above Bryce Young. But CJ Stroud, winning Offensive Rookie of the Year, and then you run it right back. Houston, going to go ahead and pick up Defensive Rookie of the Year as well with Will Anderson Jr. Totally deserve it. The guy was an impact player from the edge. He's a dominant force. I think he ended up winning. He was like third in pass rush win rate amongst rookies. Did a phenomenal job, and you especially pair those two young players, two rookies, with a rookie head coach. The sky's the limit for the Houston Texans. If Jacksonville continues to implode the way that they have been in the back end of the season, and if the Colts can't get it right with, if Anthony Richardson comes back from injury and he's not where he needs to be, the Texans are going to dominate the AFC South for the next 3 or 4 years just with these two rookies that they were able to get out of this draft class. This draft class has been absolutely phenomenal across the board. But congratulations to Will Anderson and CJ Stroud. If you guys think back to last year's draft video, I actually did a breakdown saying that there were 3 players that the Lions could potentially, that I would feel comfortable the Lions trading up from to get into, trading up into like the top 5. And Will Anderson Jr. is one of those guys because I thought he was an absolute force on it. So congratulations to the 2 rookies from Houston getting Offensive and Defensive Rookie of the Year awards. Then last but not least, Coach of the Year. Coach of the Year. Coach of the Year. Who's going to win it? Who's going to win it? Was it going to be our guy, Motor City Dan Campbell? Taking the Detroit Lions and all their grittiness all the way to the NFC Championship game. Just have a ball bounce off of Vildor's face mask and Josh Reynolds' hands. Or was it going to be D'Amico Ryans as a rookie head coach takes the Houston Texans with a rookie quarterback not only into the playoffs but wins their first playoff game? They won more playoff games this decade with C.J. Stroud and a rookie than Deshaun Watson ever did in Houston. But Deshaun Watson's a disgusting piece of shit, so fuck him. Get fucked, cunt. Fuck yourself completely to the moon. Get screwed. Go eat a whole bag of dicks. Deshaun Watson, you're a huge piece of shit. So I'm glad to see the Texans having such success without you being there. So you got D'Amico Ryans, you got Motor City Dan Campbell, but who ends up winning Coach of the Year? Now, at first, I was shocked, but then I had to think about it. So Kevin Stefanski, head coach of the Cleveland Browns, wins Coach of the Year. Now, I know at first it was a little shocking, a little jarring. It was a little shocking and a little jarring, especially to those of us who were rooting for Motor City Dan Campbell, who thought that he kind of deserved it from what he was able to do. But we are looking at it through Honolulu blue tinted lenses, right? Okay, so Dan Campbell did have a great year. D'Amico Ryans did have a great year. Kevin Stefanski had a great year. Kevin Stefanski did it with way less. Kevin Stefanski started 4 different quarterbacks, one of them who was a rookie, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, and one of the other 4 being Joe Flacco, 40-year-old Joe Flacco, right? You did it without Nick Chubba-Lubba-Dub-Dub. Blew his knee up early on, right? You had no weapons offensively. You had what? David Njoku, an aged, broken-down Kareem Hunt, an overinflated contract on Amari Cooper, and you end up winning 10 games? Bro, you had the Defensive Player of the Year in Myles Garrett. You had the Comeback Player of the Year in Joe Flacco. You did more. So what you got to look at, this is what you got to look at. You got to look at it this way. This is the only way that I can actually argue this to myself to make it make sense. Look at what Kevin Stefanski was able to do with the tools that he had available. The Houston Texans, the Detroit Lions had more tools in their toolbox, more toys at their disposal than the Cleveland Browns did. And the Cleveland Browns were able to put together an incredibly competitive season, okay, with significantly less. So Kevin Stefanski earns it. He earned it. That guy, my hat is off. My hat is off to Kevin Stefanski. He absolutely coached his way into Coach of the Year. Just nailed it 150%. Congratulations to him. I wish Motor City Dan Campbell would have got it, but we would have had to have probably made it to the Super Bowl. I mean, you couldn't say we'd have to win the Super Bowl to win it because the award ceremony happens before, but even if we made it to the Super Bowl, it probably still wouldn't have been enough because, one, the media hates Detroit. I mean, that's obvious. And two, we had more at our disposal than the Cleveland Browns did. But on the topic of coaching, let me know, what do you guys think? Just real quick before we get out of here. Since Kyle Shanahan can't coach in Super Bowls, should the 49ers consider maybe moving on from Kyle Shanahan? I mean, you can put it together in the regular season, but this is now 3 Super Bowls. Twice against the Chiefs as the 49ers head coach, and once against the Patriots as the Atlanta Falcons offensive coordinator. I mean, it's just saying that could be said that he can't win the big one. Hey, that's all I got to say about that. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. I know this one was kind of a long one. Thanks for sticking around with me for the past couple weeks. I decided to take last week off, or the last 2 weeks off, because honestly, I just wasn't feeling it. I was burnt out from the season. If you still made it this long, I really, really appreciate you hanging out with me, man. We're gonna transition into the off season and start to do more of the things that I really like to talk about, and that is contracts, draft, free agents, just money moves on the salary cap, re-signing guys. We're going to start getting into the nitty-gritty of it. Now, I do know that the views are going to go down now. I do realize that we're going to start to hit the slog of it all. So those of you who continue to show up and rock with me really are OGs, man. Really just guys out here living it up, loving football, man. So we're going to do everything we can to try and entertain you during the offseason. We do have UFL coming up here at the end of March, which will be a nice little spring appetizer of football to watch. It's not gonna, get me my fix, but the draft is in Detroit this year. That's awesome. I can't wait to start talking draft. Oh man, I'm glad the season's over. I wish we could have made it to the Super Bowl. It just wasn't our year yet. Next year, dude, we got like a two tree year window where we're gonna be perennial Super Bowl contenders easily, barring injuries. But it's been a great season. I'm glad that it's done, though, because I need to work on my conditioning to be able to handle the full slog of the season. So we're going to try some things differently this offseason. I was thinking about maybe doing some live streams. I know most of you probably aren't awake or up at this time of day because it is currently, at time of recording, 12:30 in the morning Tuesday. But, let me know just kind of anything you'd like to see down below. I might start putting some polls up, kind of asking you guys what you'd like to see out of the channel, out of content. And then also, I'm going to be relying more on the community or on you guys to give me feedback on players we need to talk about, discussions that can be had about bringing guys in, re-signing players. I just really want you guys to be involved in the community discussions here moving forward, because I think we're starting to build a little thing here going, man, and it's fun, and I want you guys to be involved in it too, man. So, all right, yeah, that's gonna do it for me, guys. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Stay out of trouble. Keep your stick on the ice. If you doesn't find you handsome, at least you'll find you handy. Yeah. So I've been Hat and Beard. You've been an attentive audience. Frig off. Oh, hey, in case I wasn't absolutely crystal clear,
the English royal family can go fuck themselves.
Get fucked.